Hi all and welcome to my channel. Further to my fish room tour, I thought it'd be a good idea to go through all the equipment I use in all my tanks. I hope you enjoy. Starting off in the hallway, this is my 3-foot tank. Now for lighting, I use the Chihiros RGB2 Slim. I run it on around 40%. Reason being is that I try to avoid algae as much as possible. As you can see, hopefully, it's more than adequate lighting. Now I do have a lot of plants that do cover the top of the water, so it does reduce a lot of the light going in. But being that all of the plants that I have in here, from the crypts to the ferns, they all require low light. Also the Anubias, they don't have a problem with the lighting at lower light. So I did have it at 100% at one stage, and it was way too much light for this tank. I love the Chihiros lights, and I do run other Chihiros lights in the house as well. Reason being is it's app controlled, timer's really simple, and also you have a lot more customization with the lighting. Now this is the bottom. Now at the bottom I have a Sun, also known as Dynamic Power or All Pond Solutions. They all are the same thing. They all come from China. Now I've been running this Sun canister for about 4 years now. The only downside to it, it can be a bit noisy over time. The impeller gets a bit noisy, but otherwise for the price of what you pay for it, around 99 Australian dollars or just over that, it does the job really well. It does have a UV clarifier in it as well, but I don't use it. I just don't think there's any point to it. And also I've read a lot of reviews and watched a lot of reviews on this particular canister, and the UV clarifier can also cause the plastic inside the filter to become brittle. So I don't use it at all and never have. Inside the canister itself, I have a mixture of pumice, which I've spoken about in one of my other videos, and lava rock. Now, I tend to over-filter my aquariums. So this one here is rated for a lot higher than a 3-foot tank. And with the amount of plants, I really don't need a filter like this, but I just like to be on the safe side. You'll see next to it I have CO2. Now I don't run a lot of CO2 into the tank, just a small amount, just to basically get a little bit of CO2 running through the water, but I don't really run it as a full tech, high tech setup. All of the plants that I have in the tank itself, as in the Java ferns, Anubias, and several species of crypt, don't really require high amounts of CO2, if at all, running from a CO2 canister. But I just like to basically run a little bit just to get better results and better growth in the plants. Next up is in my living area, my first rack with my 2-foot tank. Now, my 2-foot tank actually runs a Chihiros A2. Now, the major difference going to the RGB type is they'll have your RGB lighting, where the A2 is purely white light. I like the growth I get from this, and also it's a cheaper alternative to the RGB series, which is kind of out of my price range. We go down to the bottom, you'll see that I'm running a UNS canister filter on here. Now again, in terms of biomedia, I utilize pumice in this unit. Now, like I said before, I tend to over filter, which this definitely can go to, well, it's rated for around 3-foot tanks, but I find it does a very, very good job on this tank. Now again, I do heavily plant my tank, so I don't really need that much filtration, but I tend to find that I just like to err on the side of caution. And probably should show the fish while I'm at it, why not? So these are the Jet Blue Endless. my colony of Jet Blue Endlers, which are also throwing a few blondes in there as well. But you'll see they're beautiful lyre-tails. Now below, I have two what they call Kmart tanks, or where you can get them in Kmart in Australia. They're a smaller 25 litre tank. Now I do have my Australian native shrimp here, which are the chameleon shrimp or ninja shrimp. Now in here I run sponge filtration, and then next to this I also have my quarantine tank, and that runs a sponge filter also. They're just running off separate air pumps in the bottom, which I will upgrade at some stage, but at the moment they're doing the job pretty well. The only downside is it's a bit noisy. In terms of lighting, this is a dynamic power or sun light. Now you'll see I've actually put black tape on there as well. That's just to reduce the light, because there is no way to change the light settings or dim the lighting, which is a bit of a downside to the cheaper lighting, which it's still good lighting, but way too much lighting for these small tanks. Here we are at my second rack. Basically here, I'll show you the second rack. Now, starting at my 2 foot at the top, again, I use the Chihiros A2 lighting, which does a wonderful job at growing my plants, as you can see, with my black bar endless colony. Now this runs off an Eheim Classic filter, canister filter, that you see down here. Now I'm running the Eheim substrat media in there, which does a fantastic job. It's very good, highly recommended. I did run CO2 on this particular unit, but my CO2 canister that I had actually died not so long ago, so I'm looking to upgrade that at some stage. Below that is another smaller 2 foot tank. Now this is going to be for tangs. At the moment I haven't got any in there, but I've got a nice little black molly in there which keeps the tank cycled for me. Now in there I'm actually using a sponge filter. The light is the same as what we had over on the second. It's a sun light, a dynamic power light. The one downside is the fact that you can't dim the unit. Right at the bottom I have a Fluval Flex, which basically, not Fluval Flex, Fluval Spec, which basically has another shrimp colony in it. And if you want to know more about the Fluval Spec, you can check out the multitude of videos that are available on the internet. Now going to my 5.5 foot tank, I run a Dymax Rex light, a 5 foot light, which is inside the hood. Now you can dim this unit. It does have 2 or 3 settings in terms of light. I do have it on full light, so I can reach right to the bottom. I also do run an air stove in here as well. I run 2 heaters. If we come down into the bottom, you'll see I run an FX6. Now with the FX6, I think it's an absolutely great unit. You'll see in the bottom right hand corner is a little white box. Now that's a water sensor, so if it ever does leak, that'll alert or alarm will sound to let me know if there's any leaks inside the cabinet. I haven't had any issues with it yet, and hopefully I never will. The FX6 is pretty good, pretty sturdy unit. Now in the bottom as well, you'll see that I have the Inkbird temperature controller, and that's the Wi-Fi temperature controller. And that runs to two heaters inside the aquarium. Now at the moment, I don't need to, basically I could turn it off. In WA, it's quite hot at the moment. The temperature is running at around 27.1 centigrade, which is quite hot, without me even needing a heater. And a little bit of the fish while I'm at it. Now, next is my 3-foot tame tank. Now on this unit, I run an Eheim canister filter. This is Eheim Pro. It's a fairly old canister, but it does the job very, very well. I got this off a friend, and all I had to do is change out the seals inside it, and it works absolutely perfectly. Hasn't missed a beat. Completely quiet as well as the other Eheim is. Now in this, I run pumice, purely pumice, and again, it's overkill for this tank. But like I've said in previous, I'd rather overdo it than underdo it. This tank also isn't as planted, as heavily planted as some of the others. So I am relying on the canister a little bit more. These are the Julies. In here, I'll run 300 watt heater. That is run off an Inkbird as well. So I do have two of mine. I'd like to get more. I think it is really good, just to let you know if there's, a heater does go into overheat, it'll basically stop the heater. It's just a good way to ensure that you're not going to have any issues in the future. And with all heaters, there's going to be the day that something goes wrong with it. And if it does stick on heat, I don't want to cook my fish. On the top, I've actually got a fairly cheap Wi-Fi light. I've been very happy with it. It's an Amazon purchase. I got this for around 70 Australian dollars, and it actually connects through an app through Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, and I'm able to change the settings with the lighting. It's an RGB lighting, and I was pretty happy with my pickup. If anybody has any questions in terms of the brand, let me know, and I can put it down in the comment section. Now, coming to my outside tank, I actually run sponge filters on here. Sorry for the glare, but this is an outside tank, so it's very hard for me to prevent the lighting from coming in. If I can step in front of it, that might help. So you'll see here I have air filters on there. Now this isn't heated at all. There's no need because it is an outside tank, and these are all cold water species. Now at the top, the lighting I use on here is the Asta 20. These are both Amazon lights. This is the newer version and the older version. I tried to get the older version so they match, but unfortunately they are no longer available. The new one is better. It has full range of lighting settings, and also is an upgraded dimmer. Thank you so much for watching my video. Now, if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. And if you could please like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely great. That will give me more motivation to bring more videos to you. I'm really enjoying my time on YouTube, and I'd like to create more content. If you have any ideas or have any questions, please let me know. And thank you very, very much for watching. Have a great day.